Hello, gentle viewers. This is Guardian, welcoming you back to Out of the Park Baseball 25 with the Charlotte Silver Wolves. In our previous episode, we completed I believe it's our fourth off season. Let me check. No, because it's in the off season. This is actually our third year, so that's our third off season. We're not doing great, I think, is the big takeaway here. We're doing okay, but we're not doing great. We are incredibly far away from the postseason. So much so that I think it's foolhardy to even think for 1 second that we're getting to the postseason before the end of the 2020s. There's always a chance we get lucky, understood, but I wouldn't bet on it. And I think that's going to be so crucial to our success. Because one of the things about tension in this game is I can get fired. If we can't make noticeable progress this year, I think my seat becomes awfully hot. We take a look at our owner. He's currently good, but we need him to get better. We need him to be really happy about us. And so that's something we're gonna have to work on as the series continues. What can we do in order to? What did we actually do last episode? Let's talk about some of the changes we've made. Probably the most significant change we made was adding in Fuji Ryu. Now, Mr. Ryu here does not come without risk. We're paying him a lot of money for what we hope are his prime years. I don't know if this is going to work out for us. So we need somebody to actually get people into the seats. We needed a big bat, and we got that. For a much smaller sum, we also locked up Jaime Candelario, and this I think is going to be a much better deal for us in the long run. Another good quality bat to help us out with our baseball problems. We're starting Anthony Gutierrez. I don't know how I feel about that, but I'm not opposed to it. Jake Mayers plays in left again. It feels like our entire team is based around defense, and I don't think that's going to be very successful. But we'll see what happens. Paul DeJong was another addition this offseason, someone new to play shortstop. Our pitching staff looks the same as last year with the addition of Matt Manning. Matt Manning was our biggest pitching addition, and even then, he's not that special. Brian Abreu was a low-key top-tier reliever we happened to lock up for a couple 3 years. Overall, I think we're a better team than we were last offseason, but I don't think that makes us anywhere near where we need to be. Um, our pitching is not good enough, but our hitting isn't good enough either. And I don't know what's going to fix either one of those two things. Our two best prospects are miles away from the major leagues. Zapata, maybe not as much, but we've got a long ways before we're going to get the kind of help that we need. Look at our prospect pipeline. Let's just look at it. And we're going to look at all of the Charlotte Silver Wolves. You'll notice how quickly we drop off in terms of good prospects. That's because these drafts have been not very good. So hopefully, maybe this year we can add in another top flight talent. Now, I'm not complaining that much. A guy like Chris Thomason is still a really good shortstop, and I think is still a useful player that could actually end up playing a major role in this club. But these guys are a long ways away from the major leagues, and I think that's our biggest issue. The players that are major league ready aren't very good. So we've definitely got time before we have a minor league system that is worthy of our major league system. And that is going to make, at the trade deadline, trading Abner Uribe critical. I need you to stay healthy, bud. You're the one player that we acquired that I think we can turn into a pretty solid return in terms of either establishing our minor league system or adding in players that can contribute right now. George Valera has started slipping already, which isn't a great thing to have because he's our one above average hitter besides Bo Naylor. Um, yeah, we're a long ways away from the playoffs. We'll get there eventually, I'm sure, but we're a solid 3 to 5 years from the playoffs, barring some pretty incredible luck with acquiring players. So we'll see. But we are better. We are definitely better than we were, and so for that, I am reasonably happy. Let's play some baseball. A personal message. Oh yes, we claimed Hilberto Celestino again. You fucking asshole! Quit getting hurt, man. Um, we do need to clear up somebody off the roster in order to claim him. I'm gonna try to quickly flip Ronald Hernandez for a different prospect and see what's on the market. Nothing. Okay, I'll just waive him. And then let's go ahead and grab Mr. Celestino. Because he's basically Stephen Kwan, but better and younger, which I think is pretty beneficial. Remember, we play in a bit of a bandbox when it comes to home runs, so that's something we're going to want to lean into as we build our team out. Lopez can go to AAA. And then Hernandez is probably going to clear waivers too. Yeah. There we go. We have incredible depth in the sense that all of our players are equally mediocre. So losing any one player for the most part doesn't really change anything. Player development. I'm seeing a lot of green pluses, which is nice. Nothing too crazy, but there's some decent stuff happening down in the minors. In the minor leagues. Where am I picking this year? What is my... Do we do some draft scooting? I picked second overall. This is a crucial pick for us to hit on. Absolutely crucial. We need a top tier talent. Um, we have to have it. We have to get something special in this draft. We're not going to. We're going to wait till the draft pool comes out before we actually make any scouting, but we have to get this right. We can have Bailey Over back. Do we want Bailey Over back? I mean, he's as good as everybody else we've got, which is to say, not that great. Um, I'm just gonna have you rehab for now, and we'll go from there. I'm also gonna put him on the trade block and see if anybody wants him. But the thing is, I'm not gonna be able to move him that easily because he's got a decent sized salary and he's not that good, and that's a pretty bad combination. I like to make incremental gains closer to finishing at 500. If we can win 70 games this year, or even low 80s, I would be pretty happy with our progress. Yeah, no pressure on me, but this draft pick is crucial. Like I have no illusions about us not having top draft picks for a while later, but it's still crucial all the same. Mr. Gutierrez, off you go to the IL. What do we do here? I mean, Derek Hill is the most plug and play center fielder I've got, so I think we just go ahead and call him up. Not Hector Rodriguez. That is terrible time for him. He actually had a reasonable chance to to get that job when Anthony Gutierrez got hurt. But all right, you're offering me two really young players or two older players. Juan Andrade is an interesting player, but he's also very limited because he doesn't have a lot of power or a lot of batting at, which means it's all going to come down to his ability to make contact. Jesse Roscoe is at least more interesting. The thing is, I don't really need either Lopez or Ben Cosme, so I'm willing to make this trade just to get younger. Damn, Rowdy Tellez cranked out 3 home runs in one game. That's pretty good. And maybe trust that our minor league system can unlock some hidden talents in either of these two gentlemen. So we're at 500 right now at the end of April, which is pretty damn good. That's really damn good, actually. People are changing slightly. Nothing too wild is happening. Jimmy Jemerson is getting better. Sergio Zapata is starting to make some gains. That's not bad. He's still so far away from the major leagues, but I want to see him get better and not worse for sure. Rainier Ramirez hit 3 home runs, which is pretty neat. Okay, so we know what the draft pool is now. What do we have in terms of raw talent? We've got to get a blue chipper. Thankfully, there's several in this draft. I want to look at all players, please. Okay. What do we want? I think the first thing we do is we don't overthink this and we just scout everybody. Actually, high sky action pretty much everybody. Let's go ahead and scout Juan Campos, Marquise Strummer. Everyone else we're reasonably sure about, so let's go ahead and scout these two kids. All right, what do we want? I want somebody relatively close to the big leagues, so I guess a college player does make some sense. But that also limits the raw upside. Okay. Let's take a look at each one of these prospects and shortlist the ones we think fit the best with our club. Marquis Harrington is a very, very well-rounded outfielder. He's the Lizard King. What a name. However, I don't know that he plays well in this park because he doesn't have raw power. He's got good gap power, but this park is not one that plays doubles all that well. So while I like Marquis Harrington, I don't think he's a good fit for us. I genuinely don't. Juan Campos. He's a pretty well-rounded pitcher with a lot of interesting pitches. He's adaptable, he's smart, his stamina's not amazing, but he's gigantic. But he's a high school pitcher. I will shortlist him, but I don't know that I'm convinced that he's our pick because of the inherent risk in high school arms. Jesus Loza is an interfielder, is an infielder with a ton of power that can handle any of the infield positions with reasonable skill. I don't know that I put him at. I don't know where I put him. He might be number one on my list right now. He's also cheap, and that's not a bad thing. I think his future position is third base, which I'm completely fine with. Lots of raw power, though, is going to play fairly well in this park. He gets shortlisted as well. Done. Win Machim. Now, the benefit of Mr. Machim here is that he's already older, which means his time in the minor leagues should be a bit shorter. And he's got the offensive tools to be successful. He's going to put the ball in play. He's got a fair bit of power, a pretty good batting eye, and he's smart and hardworking. I think he's another really legitimate candidate for the second overall pick. Steve Callahan is only 17. And Steve Callahan is a legitimate shortstop. He is a legitimate shortstop. I'm a little less convinced about him, though. Although his glove appears to be legitimate, I am deeply concerned about his actual ability to put the ball in play in the major leagues. Because his contact rating comes from his ability to not strike out, not from his ability to put the ball in play. Given his power, that's certainly not a bad thing. And I will still shortlist him, but I don't know that I trust Callahan. Andy Giacoletto. Andy Giacoletto is a pretty great player. He's expensive as shit, but let's talk about the good stuff. He is an elite defender. Wherever we put him, he is an elite defender with elite shortstop, third base, and second base skills. He's incredibly fast, and his offensive traits are already look really good. The only knock on him is the lack of top tier power, but he's got the ability to put the ball in play, and I think he'll hit 15 to 20 home runs a year. Giacoletto might very well be my number one pick. I think he is in the driver's seat because of how close he is to being major league ready. So, and then we've got 3 pitchers. Let's look at this. Hard no. I'm not going to look at any of the rest of this bullshit. Hard no. If you're fragile, I ain't interested. We'll wait on Marquise Drummer. And what about Steve Rabadon? Rabadon is a horse. Look at his stamina. Look at his stuff control. A great changeup sinker combination. I like him a lot. A lot. I will shortlist him, although we'll see. And then lastly, Dave Alvarado. Alvarado's too limited. Most of his offensive tools are average except for his power. If his power doesn't develop, he's not going to work out. Completely honest with you right now. Andy Giacoletto seems like the guy. It's either going to be Giacoletto or Callahan. I actually have fun with either one of them, but I like that Giacoletto is closer to the majors. There's a lot to like about Win Machin. Don't get me wrong at all. There's a lot to like about him. But it's hard for me to pass up on an elite position player that plays a difficult position over a really good first baseman. Especially when Rowdy Tellez has not been terrible this year. So I think it comes down to Giacoletto or Callahan. And I think because Giacoletto is older, I think he's my number one choice. But it's going to be one of those two. It's going to be one of those two, I think. And I think that's the right call. Yeah. I'll acknowledge that it's harder to get elite position pitchers. It's harder to get pitchers. But I think this draft is deep enough that we can still get some good prospects later on in the draft. Like, there's a lot of blue and green here. This is one of the deeper drafts I think we've seen so far. So, that's where I'm at. Loveland's a really nice player, too. But he's a third baseman. And I'd rather get a shortstop than a third baseman. How are we doing this year? Our pitching has been really good. Like, we've gotten great performance out of both Joey Estes and Mitch Keller. Our bullpen has been a little bit more problematic, but still not bad. We're leading in run prevention in a lot of ways, which is really helpful. Is Tanner Houck getting lit up? No, he's walking people. Figure it out, shithead. Matt Manning is giving up a fair few gopher balls, but it's fine. Estes, Keller, and Ashby have all played quite well. Nobody's giving us. What are we getting per start out of our pitchers? If one were to ask, I can't have innings per start. That is not a thing I'm allowed to have. Estes is giving a 6 a start. Keller is just short of 6 a start. Andrew Rabbit needs to be demoted in the bullpen in the worst way, because this fucker loves giving up his home runs. He's a good pitcher, but this is not conducive to our further success. I would like you to. I don't think I can do anything about it though. Is the thing. Yeah, I actually can't do much about it. That's annoying. That's very annoying, but eventually the manager will figure it out. Come on, Buck, get him out of the setup spot, and I think we'll be an even better team. Because he's by far the worst pitcher on this club. So hopefully, as time progresses, we figure that out. None of our hitters is hitting all that well, which is distantly troubling. Thankfully, Rue and Telez are at least bringing the thump that we were expecting. Telez in particular has been a revelation this year. If Telez managed to hit 40 plus home runs, we should be able to turn him into some sweet, sweet candy around the deadline. But this is not a good offensive team yet. Maybe it will never be a good offensive team. Um. Mm, mm. I don't see why we're not at least acceptable offensively. Like, part of the issue is we're not playing Stephen Kwan because of our guy's weird obsession with Jake Myers. We've got to trade Jake Myers. I think that's rule number one. We have to get him off the club. This is just one of these guys that our manager is obsessed with. Probably because he plays good defense. We need hitters. I need Celestino or Kwan in the lineup, not fucking Jake Myers. Can I get a prospect for you? Christian Campbell has no power. That makes him uninteresting. Matthew Lugo has positional flexibility, but not a ton of offense. Lopez is decent, I guess. Prado is decent. If I could get Lugo and Lopez, I would do it. 100% I would do it. Yeah, I'm gonna make this trade. I just needed Jake Myers off the team. Like, there was nothing personal there. And I'm gonna call up Victor Meza Jr. just so that we have enough outfielders. Or do I need an infielder? No, I have two backup infielders. That's fine. Do I not have enough pitchers? I have enough pitchers. So yeah, let's go ahead and call up Mesa Jr. There we go. This should force us to play one of our better hitters instead of just playing purely for defense, and that should help us out a fair bit. I'm thinking. So who are we putting in now? Buck Showalter. Celestino is a perfectly valid choice. He's still got that defense you apparently think is critical in that fucking field, but he's also legitimately a good hitter. Valera's meltdown is really concerning to me. He's gone from being almost an essential piece of our team's future success to maybe being done at the tender age of 26. 26? Yeah, 26. We'll figure it out, man, but I am not overwhelmingly enthused by our options at this time. Alright, let's play through another month, or do we check on some trading? Do any interesting free agents slip through the cracks? Any big old thumbers need a home? Not really. Like, Max Muncy is a maybe, but meh. When do we trade Abreu? Is the question. Or Uribe, excuse me, because it is inevitable. Uribe is the one player that I think I can grab 2 or 3 players out of everyone on this roster. He has to stay healthy. But I can't hide him either, which is the tricky part. Olivares, I would kindly ask you to shut the fuck up. Although you're actually playing fairly well. You're certainly not playing poorly. Okay. What can I do to get rid of Ogre? I am over, you might say. He does have an option here left. Oh, here we go. Yeah, let's just sim a day. I'd have to waive him. I think that's fine. Like, I doubt anyone's going to claim him. If they do take him, they're doing me a favor. I'm going to try to trade him first, just in case. But nobody's going to want him. Like, no, not a single soul is going to want him. So I think we just go ahead and accept that and designate him for assignment. If somebody claims him, good luck. But that's not going to be me. Okay, nothing too crazy happening yet. Now Ober should be able to be slipped into the minor leagues without any issues. I cannot keep center fielders healthy. This is becoming problematic. I mean, nobody stockpiles mediocre center fielders like me, apparently. I want to trade Uribe while it still has a little bit of team control left, so I can at least get an okay return for him. Ideally, I want 2 to 3 prospects. That's kind of what I'm looking for. Gutierrez can come back, which is delightful news. Alcantara can go right back to the minors, where he belongs. There we go. I presently have 2 above-average position players in Fuchiru and what's his face, Bo Naylor. I cannot get overly attached to players that don't deserve it. I think that's the most important thing I have to keep in the back of my mind. I can't afford to pay lots of money to players unless I'm sure they're going to have a reasonable chance of being productive. Moises Brito improved quite a bit. That's good for him. Astas got better. Iriarty got better. Other people got better. Cool. Do we trade Uribe now? I think we have to. I think the longer we keep Uribe around, the longer we risk him getting seriously hurt. I just want to kick the tires on a prospect package for him. Nope, do not include any other players from my team. Well, I guess we can if we get the right package, but uh remove this. I only want to trade Uribe. I can't even get a green prospect in return for him. Oh, I could. I could get Jackson Job and Yeedy Cappy. Job is an okay pitcher. That's a true statement. But Cappy isn't very good. These are not good offers, which is disappointing. Like two 40s, I have so many 40s in my system, I have an embarrassment of 40s. So trading for them just doesn't make sense to me. Baez is decent. La Violette is okay. Yeah, none of these trades are that great. So let's instead trade for a single prospect and see what that gets us. Do I get any greens? Not a single one. I'm gonna put him on the trade block, and then we're gonna wait until the deadline to trade him. We need the containers to get desperate. Then they'll value him more and be willing to pay us a little bit more. Because then I'm just getting I'm getting C plus prospects. My system is loaded with those. I need stars. I will be back in just a moment. Enjoy the game, Watsons. We have returned. Nice. 7 game home run streaks by Mr. Rue. We can have Derek Hill back. I don't think we want him back. Let's just go ahead and put him back in AAA. Flopper Fido. Okay. Are we in a death spiral we can't get out of? I guess is my question. Because nobody will take my marketable assets and turn them into better players. But surely some contenders can be desperate for a closer, right? Somebody's got to be desperate. I'm willing to do unconscionable things to have one. Okay, let's talk to some of these coaches and try to get better ones. Top 100 prospects. Zapata is number 6. All right. My assistant GM is perfectly fine. I see no reason to get rid of him unless they're concerned about staff cohesion. No, he's okay. We can keep him around. Luis Bonet is thoroughly unremarkable. I think we can probably get a better bench coach. And he actively sucks. So yeah, we're gonna go and replace both of those coaches. When it comes to the minor leaguers, I want to keep stability for now. I mean, Jeremy Crane's actually legitimately sucks, so we can let him leave. Josh Cruel can take a hike. And good old Cheeves can also walk. So there's going to be some turmoil, but I think that's okay. Do we keep Jimmy Van Dyke? We need people that are easygoing quite badly. I think we let all 3 of them walk, to be honest with you. Try to get some new blood. Like, I think there's a fair chance Abner Uribe ends up being our all-star. Ronald Hernandez got better. Other people got better as well. Crasco got a slice worse, but you got better. We like Fuchiru. Good for him. Friends, I will return momentarily. Alright, I am back. Thank you for your patience. Right. Chat is right around the corner. I'm nervously excited, but I think we're going to get a tremendous talent no matter which of those 2 we end up with. I know which one I would prefer, because we need to get butts in seats. There's a certain level of, if we can get a big star, that'll draw people, that'll make people happy, and that'll help us in the long run as well. So that's kind of what we're looking at here. Let's zippity doo dah on down to the All-Star game. I didn't even know who you were or that you were hurt, so yeah. Okay. You would give me a reasonably high upside hitter and an okay pitcher. Really, Lucas Sims, what you're interested in? He's having a good season, and I mean, Juan Andrade is just not as good as the other guy. So sure. And then I can call up a reasonably decent pitcher like Saul Frank to take the spot. There you go. Alright, how many Charlotte Silver Wolves made it? I suspect at most 1. And 1 is all I got. I got Fuchiru made it. When Gunnar Henderson is hitting fucking 344 and has almost 6 WAR at the damn All-Star break, I don't so I can compete with that. Just laying that out there. Yeah, literally nobody else on my team made the All-Star team. I'm fine with that. I don't think anyone else deserved it. I should have quite a few prospects, though. Yeah, there's Carrasco, there's Zapata, and that's that. Okay. Let's zip along to the draft, please. Did you say Henry Davis was stabbed? Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Sidelined. Okay, I thought it said he was stabbed. Which sounds like, fuck you, Henry Davis. Ha! That didn't happen, though, so that's good. Okay, we got the second overall pick. I know who I want in my heart of hearts. The question is, will he still be there by the time we get to draft? That is the real question. All players. I want Giacoletto. This is the player that I have my heart set on. If we get Giacoletto, I will be very happy. So let's see here. He took the Lizard King. Giacoletto is ours. Done. I will offer you your demand instantly. Welcome to our team. Now, I knew 100% there would not be great players remaining by the time we picked in the second round. This is where we get our pitcher. So the question is, do we want B.J. Baker, Joel Dixon, Jimmy Hammond, or Eric Klinko? B.J. Baker is a college pitcher. His stuff isn't that great, but he's got decent movement and control, some decent pitches. His stamina's not great, and more importantly, he doesn't have a ton of velocity. And doesn't have the kind of frame to suggest he'll get more velocity. He is reasonably good, but let's look at the others before we decide. I mean, let's at least look at Gabe Carpenter, right? He's a really solid all-around outfielder, but I am concerned about his low loyalty. But it's a discussion to have for sure. Joel Dixon, really good personality, good at keeping homers in the park, nice control, a lovely mix of pitches, and he's also got enough velocity that I think he's in better shape. I think this might be our winner, but let's keep looking. Let's look at Eric Klinko. Or Cinco, sorry. No. I think we take the other guy. Joel Dixon, I'm going to shortlist you, and I'm going to add you to our team. I'm going to offer you the slot. Done. Both Harmon and Klinko are still here. I need strong young arms. Mr. Cinco is the better pitcher, I think. But I like Harmon's. Yeah, I think Harmon is the better choice. Let's go ahead and take Mr. Jimmy Harmon. He's also left-handed, which is a pretty nice thing to have. I'll give you your bonus demand. I'm not gonna fuck with that. Amare Slappy? His velocity isn't very good. And I think that's going to limit his upside substantially, but he's also pretty smart because he's going to Vanderbilt. I would like some of these position players too, though. Like, I don't want to go too heavy on pitchers. You know, pitching is what we need more than anything. Oh, hello. You're a big boy. You're expensive, but I think you'll be worth it. I think you're the guy that we take. I'm going to take the chance that your incredible size is going to help you add velocity and make you a much more effective pitcher. So I'll offer you the slot. Alright, still, this is actually a reasonably deep draft. I'm getting genuinely good prospects here. Mike Cassidy. You're a good all-around hitter with plus power, gap power, and you don't strike out very much. You're an okay outfielder, and you've got really good personality traits. You're a nice choice. Let's keep looking just to be sure. Mike DiArpino is not a center fielder. Other than that, he's pretty decent. Good power, decent gap power, not a lot of contact. I like Cassidy better. Poise got good speed. Eh. Russell's a very good outfielder with a decent, well-rounded offensive base, but again, eh. Mormon can handle center, but he could also play second. And he'd be reasonably okay at that. He's still got the power we're looking for. I think he makes a lot of sense. Let's shortlist and then draft Chris Mormon. There we go. And I will meet his demand. McPherson is a really good catcher, but I am concerned about his ability to develop because of all those red stats. You're less impressive as a catcher. All it's going to cost is a couple $100,000, and if he can overcome his low intelligence, I think he's going to be a good catcher. So I think we go ahead and draft him and do the thing with him. Draft. Ernie Cherkis. Okay velocity. Really good at keeping the ball down. And a nice changeup. He's not a super. He's got a decent size floor. I'm willing to add him to the club and not think about it too terribly much. Done. Damn. I know Dan Stosky isn't a very good catcher, but he keeps falling, which I find interesting. Chris Perry is a genuine two-way player. That is so valuable. 1,000 times I will shortlist you, Mr. Perry, and then draft you. Done. Are there any big time power threats left? There are some 60s left. I think Chris Toludo is a good fit. So let's draft him. He's going to want a bonus. I can live with that. And then let's look at pitching potential and let's look at stuff. Mike Akers is pretty good. Let's get Mike Akers. And let's also add Garrett Huber. I know his ability to keep the ball down isn't super great, but he's got. No, he's fragile. That's silly. I would be silly to do that. Well, especially when there's Jeff Hatch, who is as good as him, but a little bit better. If Jeff Hatch picks up a third pitch, he could even be a starter. So yeah, I think this is good. Let's go ahead and auto-complete the draft. And let's make some signings. I feel that this is a very productive draft. I feel like this is a really productive draft. And I think we've added some genuine weapons into our club. Don't sleep on I mean, obviously don't sleep on Giacoletto. Giacoletto is the guy that I wanted more than anything. I'm hoping he will very quickly advance up the ranks. But I think we got some genuinely good young pitchers that should hopefully help trigger a renaissance when we're ready to have one. Although this is a very young draft class. We only had one college player, which is our second overall pick, but I'm reasonably chuffed with what we've managed to accomplish there. So let's go up to the trading deadline. You're fine, Olivares, but I'm not gonna like move people aside just for you. Well, you're actually having a pretty decent season, all things considered. I've been around 500, guys. This has actually been a very productive season in a lot of ways. You're asking me to get older. I don't like it. I reject your trade. Hard Passerino. I don't need an older relief pitcher, especially one that costs quite a bit of money for 2 years. If Sergio Lemia was something truly phenomenal, I would consider it, but he's only good. And then I'm not losing a lot, but I'm losing enough that I don't want to cough up. I don't want Jason Adam. It's the hard truth. Like I don't need an over the hill reliever. That doesn't move the needle for me in the slightest. So I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that's a reasonable move for me. It's not worth it. I'm not opposed to trading Matt Manning, don't get me wrong, but if I'm gonna trade him, I'm gonna get something good for it. Um I need either the green regular season guys or green prospects. That's my basement here. Okay, they're offering. Oh, it's literally already gone. Literally also gone. Not gone, but not good enough. Like I do not want Jason Adams. Stop offering him, please. All right, let's begin by trying to flip Uribe. I want to start by looking for a prospect package. If I can get multiple prospects, that is a preferred scenario. I'd love to try to get a couple of greens if we could. Oh, you really like this deal? Why? Triantos is fine, but hardly thrilling. Osuna again is fine. Hidalgo's kind of limited. I don't hate this deal, but I don't like it right now. Let's keep checking things out because we're actually getting better deals. Okay, Bubba Chandler is a really good pitcher. He's a really good pitcher. And Danny Diadrade is a good enough position player that I think this trade makes some sense. I'm going to keep looking, but this is the winner right now. The package and the Pirates is the winner. Mm. There is this trade. What are we getting? Jefferson Rojas is a pretty solid position player. I could see him filling in at any one of a number of positions. Luke Verduld is an okay corner outfielder, but he's not a center fielder. And Bonolis is pretty solid. None of them offer the instant upside that the other guy does. Jose Caballero is fine, but not thrilling. Luis Morales is a decent reliever, but that's not what I'm looking for. I keep coming back to the Pirates package. Bubba Chandler is a really good pitcher. Like, really, really good. He's a fly ball pitcher. He's gonna struggle a little bit, but I think that's okay. I think this is the trade that we take. Done. Instantaneously, Bubba Chandler gets called up to the major leagues. Like that was never in doubt. Who else do we want to try to move this period here? DeJong, Olivares, and Manning are our free agents to be. DeJong has been god awful. He has literally made us a worse team just by standing around. I have no desire to keep him around. He can get fucked. What if anybody wants DeJong? I will take on veterans in exchange for DeJong if I can get the right one. Not even a little bit green? Okay. Fine. Ramon Urias isn't that interesting. Just isn't. Mm. I think the best thing could be just let him walk in the off season and chalk it up as a mistake. Matt Manning is by far my most marketable asset. Do we want to keep him? Let's start with that question. How much would it cost us to keep him around? Too fucking much money. Okay. I only want prospects, and in fact, I'd love a prospect package for him if I could get away with that. Let's try that. So we have one offer that's actually decent. Because it actually has two players in it. Ian Lewis is a decent shortstop right now. I know his offense is always going to be somewhat limited. I think he's a pretty good choice. Andre Lara throws plenty hard. A nice, yeah. This is a good trade. We will make this trade. Done. Um, both Lara and Lewis get to make the roster. The question is just how do we get rid of DeJong in order to make room for him? DeJong isn't that bad. I guess we can just add him to the 40 man and then demote him to AAA for now. Call him up when rosters expand. Olivares. Can we get anything decent for him? I don't know. Let's find out. I mean, decent is a word. Christian Javier is a meaningless. No, it's a stupid trade. Like, I know he's a good player, but it's a stupid trade. I'm not going to add an expensive starting pitcher when he gives me nothing in return. Besides pitching well this year. Hunter Harvey isn't bad, but he's also frequently injured, which makes him kind of sussy. Um, Liberato is decent. Mm, Is there anything desirable on the actual, like, trade block? Dylan Carlson is fine, but it's hard to get excited about him. I'm not going to add on Christian Javier, a player that I'm going to lose in just a season. Brock Stewart doesn't make any sense because they're about to lose him. Michael King is horribly overpriced. Meh. Joe Ryan would be a nice addition. He's a really good pitcher right now, and he'll be a good one next year. What is this going to cost me? A player I'm not prepared to give up, but we can work with this. I don't have enough top tier prospects to offer you very many of them, but I have enough to at least let you think about it. Does Chris Thomason do anything for you? If I offer Thomason, I can basically name my own price. What if I don't offer Thomason and instead I offer Jesus Pereira instead? Yeah, do some players I'm perfectly willing to part with. Um, I could also offer you Andy Peters. Andy Peters doesn't move the needle for you at all. That's fair. Jameer Jemerson isn't that great. I could part with him too. I think this makes sense. It gets us a top flight starting pitcher for one more year. I think it just makes sense. I think that was the right decision. I feel very good about that trade. Both in the short term, but also in the long term. I think that was a smart decision. Um, um, I really want a prospect for Olivares. I think that's my price. Nathaniel Rodriguez can handle himself at shortstop. I think players like that have a decent bit of value, so I will make that trade. I know I can add Joe Ryan to the roster and figure out what to do with the rest of this shit. Angel Perdomo, I think, has outlived his usefulness and is going to be returned to his club. There you go. Done. Is there anything else I want? I don't think so. I'm not seeing young players being offered here. And the ones that are being offered aren't very good. Like Jose Suarez is not somebody I'm going to sit there and go ooh la la about. Leody Taveras isn't bad, but that's a lot of fucking money, and I'm not going to pay that. I refuse to pay that much money. So yeah, I think this makes sense. Bargaining Logan Webb off of the fucking Nationals Which it would cost you too much money. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to bet on a 30-year-old pitcher still being one of the best in the league. That's stupid. So we're not going to do that. I think we've had a successful trade deadline. I don't think there's anybody else that want to trade. Nobody wants Paul DeJong, nor should they. Yeah, done. Don Areno. Oh, I did actually get a trade proposal, which would have actually been a really good one. Oh well. No, I actually would have made that trade. I at least would have considered it. Jordan Beck is a really good player, but oops. Oops. I award you one oop. I think we're at a point, like, we're not going to play us this season. I'd be pretty shocked if we did. But I think we've added important players to this team that actually have a decent chance to still be around when we are talking about the postseason in a realistic way. You're still a long ways away from reaching your potential, Mr. Thomason, but you're making it hard to keep you in the minor leagues when I know that we desperately need a better shortstop. Um, we're just gonna zippity do that along the way until you get to the roster expansion, and then we will move some people around. Iriarte and Celestino are both hurt. Let's get them off the roster. What do we need? I need one pitcher and two position players. The pitcher shall be Ben Caderna. Look how Andy Giacolito's already in Double A. That's insane. He's actually playing well there too. So if you develop the way that I hope you're going to develop, this is already like a brilliant decision for me. Double A already is just so wild, and I love it. What else do we need? I need an infielder. I need an infielder. I need Ian Lewis. Plus, he's got loads of positional flexibility, which just makes him a useful guy to have on the roster. And I need an outfielder. Could be Andy D'Andrade. He's a decent hitter. I've got a lot of choices here. Derek Hill, I think, is the guy, unless it's Dane Myers. No, we'll go for Derek Hill. Done. Do we get silly? Do we give Giacoletto actually some major league experience this season? That just feels so dumb. That feels really dumb. And short sighted. Would it be nice to have like a genuine top tier star? That'd be pretty cool, right? Mr. Joey Astes is gets shut down a bit. We need a starting pitcher. Oh, Kurder must have just gotten hurt. That's unfortunate. Who's the best starting pitcher not presently on the major league roster? I think it's Mason Black in terms of like 40 man, but if we're willing to add someone to the 40 man, which I think we could, maybe bring back Bailey over. Maybe use Joey Cantillo. Let's use Joey Cantillo, sure. Again, you're making it really hard for me to resist the temptation to call up Giacoletto, but I'm going to be strong. Um, Mikey Romero's a really good pick. I think Mikey Romero makes a fine addition to the roster. Oh dear, here comes a tailspin. Tailspin. Um, Iriarte, this is my chance to send you to the minor leagues. Not too sure how to stop fucking walking everyone. So I think I'm gonna do that. I will put you back on the 38-man roster, but yeah, we're gonna send you to Portland. Oh, I'd have to waive you. I don't think anybody else is gonna want you. I mean, I don't want to be cruel about it, but I don't think anybody else is gonna jump for joy. The idea of getting Iriarte. Maybe they will. I don't know, but it seems unlikely. Celestino back is pretty nice. I'd rather have Celestino than a lot of other players that I have right now, like Victor Mesa Jr., who's been dog shit. Hmm. We need power. We need power pretty desperately. We need everything, though. That's the thing. There are very few players on this team that I can comfortably say that yes, they're a part of Charlotte's future. Um, why did I get stopped? What? Oh, okay. Iriarte cleared waivers, so we can send him to AAA now. There you go. As says, I'm gonna let you rehab for an important reason. That then will have you ready to go once rosters expand. That's my plan. Is it a good plan? I don't know, but it is a plan. You can't argue with me there. I don't care if Paul DeJong never plays again. The guy fucking sucks. So yeah, I'm technically not out of the playoffs yet, which is funny to me, but that's not gonna happen. Like we're not making the playoffs this year. Cantillo got better. Seal Frank got worse. Hoke got worse. Thomason got slightly better. Aguirre got better. But the real question is, no, Chocolate didn't get any better. Okay, that's fine. Um, Estes gets called up 1,000%, and then the question is, who else do we call up? I want to play with a little bit of pop to see if what they can achieve in the seasons to come. We don't have anybody like that though. It's my issue. I mean, I have Sabato. Sabato is probably fine, but I don't know, man. Brandon Maia would be a decent choice. Like, is this another outfielder that can actually handle center field fairly well? I could get behind that. Let's do it? Question mark. Or Danny D. Andrade. I think has because the fact he can play third base or the outfield is pretty decent. I just wish I had a really interesting prospect to try out. I mean, I guess there is Thomason, right? But Thomason is pretty far off the major league track. Look at our prospect pipeline now. Who's the closest to being major league ready? Thomason. Or Alcantara. I guess that's true. Um, I got all kinds of power waiting in the minor leagues, so we're a long ways away from seeing that power. I guess we can call up Aaron Sabato. He can pick up a few at bats here and there. I don't have a problem with that. What would have to go right for us to make the postseason? Like, is there a chance at all? I don't think that there is. We're 23 games out of first place, really fighting for the wild card, and we are not close to the wild card. Like, if I won out or some crazy shit like that, maybe, but that's not gonna happen. Like, let's not be silly. Let's not be foolish. If I finish with 75 or more wins, I will be pretty jacked. I'll be pretty happy. Yeah, that's fine. I mean, it doesn't have to be. I could just designate him for assignment. Really, dude? Really? This game doesn't want me to have nice things. It doesn't want me to be free of Paul DeJong, no matter how hard I try. Come on, guys. 7-5. 7-5. 7-5. 7-5. 76? We did it, guys. We are the greatest. Bo Naylor was a 2020 player? He got 20 stolen bases? I'll be dipped in shit. He did. Good for him, man. Alright. So we had to make the postseason, but we did win 76 games. Let me remind you where we were last season. We improved by 14 wins over last season. That's pretty impressive. That is genuinely an impressive feat. I still don't think we're anywhere near the postseason, but we're closer than we've ever been. For sure. Yeah, you'll be fine. You'll come back better than ever. You just wanted an early trip to the post. You just wanted an early vacation. Go play some golf. I understand. Damn. I've been to that ballpark. That's a really nice one where the Sugarland Space Cowboys play. I'm gonna call right now. At most, we have a player with 3 wins. I think that's the most we can expect this season. I don't think we have anybody in the 4 wins or higher category. I think 3 is the best we're gonna get. How do I keep going? I wonder if we choose to hit more home runs. No, dipshit. His season's over with, man. Oh, that's an interesting Final Four. Orioles, Mariners, Cubs, and Rockies. I'm here for it. Rockies. Nice, guys. Well done. Rockies and Mariners, two first time. Someone's going to win the World Series for the first ever time. That's amazing. I love that in baseball. All right. Let's reveal the shit out of people. Let's also take a look at some of these guys. No, no, no. Definitely not. Absolutely not. All right. I want all players. I did hear they rebalanced the international free agent classes, and I can already pretty clearly tell that's the case. I mean, a green player of any kind is still pretty impressive. What? Do not game. Do not lie to me. Oh, I don't think I can start until next month, maybe? That's fine. I practice. Done. And the Rockies are World Series champions. Good for them, man. Good for the Rockies. Look at Yanquiel Fernandez. Just casually hits nearly 50 home runs. That's pretty wild. Hey, I'm proud of it, okay? That took a lot. Oh, and Buck Showalter retired. I'm not surprised. I had a feeling he would. They'll do that. I cannot rebuild the coaching staff in my image, though, which I think is a valuable thing here. He is happy. I got an all-star. Got a decent farm. Eventually, we'll get some more people on there. Just settle down, guys. Okay. We will focus on the coaching staff and everything next episode. Let's first take some time to talk about what happened in this season. Who played well? Who played poorly? Did anyone earn more than 3 wins? Bo Naylor was the best player on the team. I think we have more than earned. I think he has more than earned our respect, and he's handled the catching staff, the pitching staff quite well as well. Love Bo Naylor. Michael Garcia just keeps being an effective player. No matter what we ask him to do, he's good at it. He plays solid defense and he hits enough that his glove isn't a millstone. Youngster Fuchiru comes into the league, first time ever, 500 slugging percentage. I'll take that every day of the week. If he had a better team around him, he would have driven in a lot more runs and maybe even got some more homers, but that looks good. Gutierrez surprised me. I still think he's a limited player in a lot of ways, but I think our ballpark is helping him out a lot. Like 17 home runs is quite a lot more than I ever would have expected from him. And he's an okay outfielder at every position, so I think he's still got a future on the team. Ryan Tellez was barely replacement level, despite hitting 30 home runs. And this is where it starts going downhill. George Valera was below replacement level. His power disintegrated. This is what we call bad. Candelario was bad. Derek Hill, bad. Ian Lewis, how in the fucking hell you already cost us a full win, barely playing, I don't know, but bad. Paul DeJong, terrible. We need more quality players. Like, a first baseman should never be hitting just above replacement level. Who is literally league average in every sense of the word with the bat. That's not good enough. I had one hitter that was above league average, and that was Fujiru. Everyone else is league average or below. That's got to get fixed. We've got to add in a premium offensive talent no matter what it takes in order for this team to be taken seriously. The pitching was actually pretty good. Tanner Houck had himself a pretty nice season. We still have him for another couple of years. He had a really good season for us. Really good. Mitch Keller was good. Estes was good. Brian Abreu took over as closer and did quite well. Some really good relief performances. Aaron Ashby, not as good as his previous season, but still acceptable. We have a good pitching staff, sort of. And let's not lose sight of the fact that our best overall pitcher, Joey Ryan, is hurt now. But I am reasonably pleased with this team's pitching staff. I still think we need more. We always need more. We will forever need more. But we're still okay. Bubba Chandler was a nice little find, and I think it's going to be an important part of our rotation next season. I feel pretty confident about that. However, we've got to get a better offense. We have to. I don't want to look at. I don't want to look at this, but I'm going to look at it. That's about what I expected. We don't score runs. Period. When a guy like, yeah, the heart of our lineup is fine, but we don't have a consistent on base threat on the team. We don't have consistent power from anyone other than Fuchiru and Teles to a certain extent. Yeah, we've got to redevelop this lineup to be the best version of itself if we're going to be competitive next year. I don't know what we do. Like, we have so many holes, so many players are obviously not suited for this club, but we have even more players that are like at least close, I guess. I don't know. I don't know where we go from here. Mm. Naylor and Rue have a job on this club. Everyone else, including Teles, you're on thin ice, friends. Figure out your shit in the off season, or we're gonna have some words. Um, Jacques Aleo is developing at a rapid pace. This is going to be a crucial off season, so much so that we're going to definitely do that first thing next episode. We have to make sure he has a great off season. He's the number one prospect in Major League Baseball, and he could be in the major leagues next season. That's awesome. We needed a great pick, and I think we got one. I think we got one. Until next time, my friends, this has been Guardian. Thank you for watching, and I bid you